you're not going to want to hear this, but you're building your bracket 2 decks wrong, and I'm going to tell you why. Most people, when they're reading the bracket list information that Wizards of the Coast put out, the thing that most people just glance over and immediately forget about, and in my opinion is even more important than the list of what cards you should and shouldn't be able to run in these decks, is the intentions behind what that deck is built for. A bracket 2 deck is built in the spirit of existing pre-constructed decks coming out from Wizards of the Coast. Even if you're sitting down and you're saying that this deck isn't a bracket 3 because it's running no game changers, if your deck is very powerful because of the synergies that it's running, if you've created optimized card advantage engines and you're running a really healthy card draw suite that most of these precons aren't, and you've got removal and protection spells that are not on the game changers list, the spirit of that deck is probably not a bracket 2 deck. A Krenko Mob Boss deck is probably not going to run that many game changers, but that deck is better than a precon. I can guarantee you a generally decent Krenko Mob Boss deck is better than a precon. When somebody sits down and plays a bracket 2 deck, the expectation gap is extremely wide. And I think that that's really the biggest challenge we're facing right now in playing casual games. I want to be very careful to make it clear. If you don't want to follow the rules of the bracket system, you're not forced to. And I'm never going to say no to playing with somebody because they're not adhering strictly to the bracket system rules. But I think it's very important that when I sit down at a table to play somebody in a game of Commander, that me and that person have very similar expectations for what we're wanting to play so that we have the best game possible. The bracket system to me is way better than what I've had in the past because every single person I sat down with said their deck was a 7. I would sit down one week and I would play a deck and it would get absolutely stomped. I would go then the next week and I would play against the same power level people and that deck would absolutely crush it and do well. And so I think the bracket system is a step in the right direction, but it's not perfect. And I also think people are minoring on the major and they're majoring on what cards we should and shouldn't be running, when the more important thing, the guiding light of what these decks really should be, is the top line of the text on this guide, on this info sheet. I hope this has given you some food for thought when it comes to building your decks and deciding what bracket they belong in, but more importantly, I want to hear from you. If you have any thoughts or comments on this, please let me know down in the comment section below, and follow me for more Commander deck building and conversations around the Magic community.